Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, well, we've got a really specific mission. We're kind of hunting for the invisible building blocks of conversational English.
Hmm.
We're not looking at, high-level business jargon or obscure lit terms. Nope. We're diving into those small, subtle words.
The ones you hear all the time.
Exactly. The ones that, when you use them right, don't just make you sound proficient. They make you sound, well, effortlessly fluent, almost supernatural, you could say.
That really is the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many learners, they focus maybe too heavily on just building a massive vocabulary list.
Right, knowing big words.
Yeah, but the real hurdle, the thing that trips people up in actual conversations, it isn't knowing a word like catastrophe.
Uh-huh. Probably not something you use every day.
Hopefully not. No, it's knowing how to, you know, soften what you're saying or correct someone politely, transition smoothly between ideas, connect your thoughts fluidly.
And that's where our source material comes in today.
It does. We've sourced this fantastic educational discussion,
Yeah.
and it's focused entirely on that practical, high-frequency stuff. Words categorized by, like, daily context.
So our mission today is...
Our mission is to really extract the functional usage, not just the definition, but the how and the why these words work. It's genuinely a shortcut.
I like that. Thinking of them not just as vocabulary, but as linguistic tools.
Precisely.
Tools that manage nuance, signal corrections gently, handle your transitions, and this is crucial, I think. Manage that social distance between speakers.
Mm-hmm. Softening things.
Right. Softening direct statements. If you can really master how these work, you kind of stop translating in your head, don't you?
You do. You start thinking in the flow of English.
Yeah.
Knowing the dictionary definition, look, that's step one. Essential, but it's only step one. Step two, and that's what this deep dive is all about, is understanding the pragmatic function. How do native speakers actually use them out there in the wild?
That feels like the real shortcut. Understanding the deployment.
It is. That's conversational mastery. So where should we start? Maybe where a lot of people spend a big chunk of their time.
Makes sense. Let's kick things off with the language of work, of productivity.
Okay, so professional life, you're talking deadlines, scheduling meetings, maybe just mentioning you're busy. Clarity is obviously vital.
But politeness is too. You can't just be blunt all the time.
Exactly. And the first word the sources really zero in on for this, for that professional clarity mixed with politeness, is actually highly versatile.
Actually, yeah. Its core meaning is simple enough in reality or in fact, but its real power, especially, in work interactions, is how it lets you introduce a correction or maybe a contrast.
Gently.
Gently, without sounding confrontational. Think of it like a little flag you raise politely, saying, okay, I heard what you said, but here's the actual situation.
That distinction feels really important. Like if a colleague just assumes you're free and asks, hey, got a minute, and you absolutely don't.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying no can be quite harsh,
Yeah.
a bit abrupt.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But if you say, actually, I'm a bit busy right now, it softens it. It kind of implies, look, I appreciate you asking, but the reality is I can't right now. It just smooths things over.
It really does. And you see it used all the time to correct mistaken ideas or perceptions.
Yeah.
The source had a good non-work example. Something like,
The meeting time.
that was it. I thought the meeting was at 10 a.m., but actually it's at 11 a.m. See? It's an immediate, polite pivot. Here's the correct information.
It's efficient, too.
Very. And technically, think about where it goes in the sentence. When Dig actually starts the sentence, like in those examples, it often signals that soft contrast or correction.
Okay.
But if you speak it mid-sentence, the effect can be different. It can become stronger, almost like you're emphasizing a surprising truth.
Hmm.
Like, wow, I actually finished that whole report an hour ago.
Ah, okay. So the placement adds another layer of nuance. That's exactly the kind of detail, isn't it, that separates basic use from more advanced natural use?
It really is.
All right. So what's next? Another tool for the busy professional, this one dealing more with certainty.
All right, let's talk about probably.
Probably.
Probably. This is how we talk about strong possibility.
Hmm.
It means likely or very possible. And it's absolutely essential in professional planning. You need to project confidence, often, but you also need,
A little wiggle room.
exactly, a margin for error. You're signaling a high likelihood, maybe, say, 80%, 90% certain, but crucially, not 100%.
Yeah, I can see that. If I'm managing a project, I can't always give rock solid guarantees on everything.
No way. Too many variables.
So I might say, I'll probably finish the QA testing later today. It sounds confident, proactive, but if the system suddenly crashes, well.
You haven't completely broken a promise. It's professional hedging, really.
Professional hedging, I like that term.
It allows for that conviction, but without absolute unbreakable commitment. And here's another tip for sounding natural. Listen to how it sounds in fast speech.
Oh, yeah.
Native speakers, especially in more informal work chats, often reduce it. It becomes like a two-syllable word.
Hmm.
Probably, or sometimes probably.
Probably. Yeah, I hear that.
If you always use the full, very articulated probably, it can sometimes sound a little stiff, a bit unnatural. So getting that casual pronunciation down is part of fluency too.
Good tip. Okay, now this next one, or pair, rather. Kind of, and sort of. I feel like these are everywhere in spoken English.
But absolutely everywhere. Kings of conversational softness, as you said.
But learners sometimes struggle, maybe because they feel too informal.
Could be. But they are just critical linguistic hedges. They mean simply a little bit or somewhat. And their main job, functionally, to dial down the intensity of whatever you're saying.
Tone it down.
Exactly. If you want to sound truly fluent, you have to grasp that English speakers, particularly maybe Americans, really value indirectness. We tend to avoid strong extremes in casual talk.
Right, so if I just say, that presentation was bad, that's pretty blunt. Aggressive, even.
Yeah, it's 100% critique. No softness there.
But if I say, the presentation was kind of long, or maybe the data was sort of confusing.
See, you've massively softened the blow. You've implied the issue is maybe minor, or perhaps it's just your subjective feeling. It's much less confrontational.
But you mentioned informality. There's a caution there, right, about register.
Absolutely crucial. These phrases, kind of, sort of, they're conversational gold.
Yeah.
Perfect for chatting, texting, talking with colleagues you know well.
But maybe not in that formal report to the CEO.
Definitely not. If you put them in a formal email to a big client, your project is kind of delayed.
Dear, that sounds incredibly unprofessional.
So what would you use instead in that formal context?
You'd reach for more formal hedges, words like to some extent or somewhat or slightly. Your project is somewhat delayed due to unforeseen circumstances. Sounds much better.
Got it. So kind of sort of are like the grease for casual conversation.
Yeah.
But you need different tools, different glue for formal settings.
Well put. And they're also brilliant for just describing ambiguity, aren't they?
How so?
Like the weather example. If it's not freezing cold, but it's definitely not warm either. What do you say? Ah, right. It's kind of cold outside. It nails that middle ground perfectly. Not extreme either way.
Precisely. Okay, moving back towards accountability and action in the workplace, we absolutely have to talk about the phrase deal with.
Deal with. Yeah, sounds simple, but professionally, it's used constantly. It means manage, handle a situation, solve a problem, taking action, basically.
Right. And its utility, I think, is kind of two-sided. First, there's the positive side,
Mm.
just defining your responsibilities.
Like my job is to deal with all international client complaints.
Exactly. You're the person responsible for managing that whole area.
Yeah.
But then there's often a slightly negative feel to it, too, isn't there? Dealing with something can imply it's a bit unpleasant or difficult.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I find myself using it most when I'm talking about tasks that are necessary, but maybe a bit frustrating. Like,
Right.
I really don't want to deal with all that paperwork today. Or, erg, I spend the entire morning dealing with a software bug. It signals not just the management, but often the struggle involved.
That's a great point. It carries this weight sometimes, suggesting effort is needed, often for something challenging. It's definitely more flexible than just saying handle or manage because it has that potential negative undertone built in.
Okay. And the last one for this work productivity section, the absolute cornerstone of time management, the schedule.
Ah, the schedule, your master
Yeah.
plan for time, right? All your commitments, meetings, tasks, your calendar, essentially.
The noun definition is pretty clear. Let me check my schedule. But you stressed the verb usage earlier and how it's key in negotiation.
That's right. As a noun, it's straightforward, but we use it as a verb constantly when organizing things. Can we schedule a meeting for Tuesday?
Standard office speak.
Totally standard. And beyond the basic verb, professional English is just packed with idioms related to schedules. Mastering these really boosts your fluency.
You mean things beyond just saying your schedule is full or empty?
Exactly. We don't just say a meeting is possible. If it's tentative, we might say, yeah, I can pencil that in.
Meaning it might change?
Right. Or if you're really busy, you don't just say my schedule is full.
Yeah.
You say, oh, my schedule is absolutely packed today. Or maybe I don't have much wiggle room in my schedule.
Those related phrases, those collocations, they really add that layer of naturalness, don't they? Using packed or pencil in or having an open schedule, it's much richer than just full or empty.
Absolutely. So mastering these five, actually, probably, kind of, sort of, deal with and schedule with all its related bits really gives you that professional backbone. You can communicate clearly about time, tasks, certainty, responsibility.
Foundational stuff for work. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, shall we move on from the office?
Let's do it. Let's talk about managing the flow of conversation itself in more everyday social settings.
All right, this next part feels really key to sounding natural. It's about those conversational markers, the little signals we send to guide the listener through what we're saying.
Yeah, the signposts, they make the whole thing flow smoothly instead of being jerky.
Exactly. And we kick off with one that's all about building excitement, grabbing attention. Guess what?
Guess what? Pure conversational energy. Its job is to instantly build anticipation, to make the listener lean in and focus. Functionally, you're not really asking them to guess, are you?
No, not usually. It's more like saying, get ready, news incoming.
Precisely. Prepare yourself. I'm about to drop some information.
It sets the stage perfectly for a big reveal. Guess what? I got that promotion. Instant enthusiasm injected right there.
Definitely. But here's where it gets fun. You can also use, guess what, for something totally mundane,
That's,
right?
yeah, the ironic use.
Exactly. It creates this funny gap between the expectation, ooh, big news, and the reality.
Like a friend calling you up, all urgent. Guess what? I finally took out the trash.
Haha, yes. It's amusing because they've used this high-stakes, exciting phrase for a totally low-stakes, everyday task. But whether the news is big or small, the phrase itself demands attention, creates that immediate connection.
Okay, great opener. Now, what about those moments when you're talking and suddenly you remember something else? Something related, but maybe slightly off topic. How do you transition smoothly?
Ah, that's the perfect job for By the way,
By the way,
by the way, it's just a really elegant way to slot in an aside, like a little conversational footnote. You're talking about topic A.
our weekend plans.
Right. And then, you remember something else, maybe topic B that just popped into your head. You used, by the way, to signal that quick shift.
So we're chatting with the weekend, and I suddenly think, oh, milk. I'd say, by the way, I just remembered I need to buy milk later.
Perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
And notice the new topic, milk, is usually somewhat related to the context, daily life, plans, but it wasn't the main point of the conversation about the weekend itself.
And it stops you from just like blurting it out aggressively. It layers it in more gracefully.
Exactly. It manages the information structure of the chat. Okay, so
Yeah.
you've used, by the way, you've taken that little detour. Now you need a way back, right?
And to the main road.
Precisely. And that's the job of
Anyway, feels like the universal back on track signal.
It really is. It signals closure and redirection. You're telling the listener, okay, that little side trip is over. Let's get back to the main point. Or let's wrap this conversation up now.
Two key functions then. Returning to the main topic.
Right. Like, we were deep into discussing the football game, but somehow we started talking about pizza recipes for 10 minutes. Anyway, as I was saying about that final goal, it's a clear, polite flag. Sidebar concluded.
And the second function. Ending the chat.
Yeah, crucially, it's probably the most common, polite way to signal you need to end a phone call or even an in-person chat that's run its course.
Ah, the exit ramp.
The polite exit ramp. You say something like, anyway, I really have to go now, but it was great catching up. It just avoids that awkward, abrupt ending.
That makes sense. And grammatically, thinking about, by the way, anyway, they usually pop up right at the start of the sentence, don't they? To really flag that shift.
Most often, yes. They act as linking adverbials, signposting the change in focus very clearly.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier we might need to revisit a word, actually. You said its function changes a bit in social settings.
Yes, definitely need to circle back to actually here. Because in social chat, its primary job shifts slightly. It's less about correcting, say, factual errors like meeting times.
And more about.
More about managing social preferences, opinions, differences. This is where that idea of managing social distance really comes into play.
Ah, making disagreements less disagreeable.
Exactly. In social talk, actually is still about clarification, but it's often used to introduce a difference of opinion or maybe just a personal preference really politely. It adds that softness, again, stops a simple contradiction from sounding, argumentative or aggressive.
I can see that. There's definitely a pressure in English, maybe especially British English too, to be non-confrontational.
Very much so.
No?
So imagine a host offers you coffee, but you really don't like coffee.
Okay.
Just saying, I prefer tea, could sound a bit abrupt. Maybe even slightly ungrateful.
Yeah, potentially.
But if you say, actually, I prefer tea, that little word actually does a lot of work. It acknowledges their offer, their likely expectation that you'd accept coffee.
And then gently corrects it with your real preference.
Precisely. It's subtle, maybe, but it's absolutely essential for keeping things harmonious. Social lubrication, as you called it earlier.
It's like a little linguistic nod before you state your difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I see your point offer. Actually, here's my reality.
Useful for clarifying plans, too, like in the source. I thought you were going to the concert.
Right, in the reply. Actually, I decided to stay home and relax. Again, you're explaining a reality that contradicts an expectation, but softly.
Okay, makes sense. And that desire for clarity, for self-correction, maybe even softening things, that brings us nicely to the last phrase in this section.
I mean, An absolute powerhouse for native speakers. You hear it constantly in fast conversation.
So what's it doing? What's its job?
It's got several jobs. You use it to explain yourself better, maybe rephrase something you just said, clarify a point, or just quickly add more detail. It's like hitting a mini edit button mid-speech.
That's a great way to put it. It gives you an instant second chance to get your meaning across accurately, especially if you think your first attempt maybe sounded a bit too harsh or wasn't quite right.
Ah, the damage control function.
Exactly. The classic example is softening a critique. You blurt out, "Oh, that movie was absolutely terrible."
Whoops, maybe too strong.
Right. So you immediately jump in with, "I mean, it wasn't really my favorite, and I probably wouldn't recommend it."
Ah, okay. The second part drastically pulls back from terrible to just not my favorite. Much softer.
Instantly softened. So it has to avoid misinterpretation, ensures your thoughts land the way you intend them to
Hmm.
in real time. And it's also just useful as a pause filler, isn't it? When you need a split second to gather your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Like, I was trying to schedule the client review meeting before the end of Friday. Buys you a moment.
Precisely. So these five, guess what, by the way? Anyway, actually, in its social use, and I mean, they really are the difference between just linking words together and actually managing the conversation, managing that relationship with your listener.
Fluidity defined. Okay, let's shift gears again. Where to next?
How about we go home? The language of daily routines, household stuff.
All right, home life. Shifting from the social and work spheres right into the domestic zone. These words might seem basic, maybe, but they're vital for talking about everyday tasks, chores, maintenance, just running a household.
Absolutely. And we start with a word that speaks volumes about managing resources in the kitchen. Leftovers.
Leftovers, the bane of some people's existence, the savior of others.
Uh-huh. True. The definition is simple.
Mm.
Food cooked for a meal wasn't all eaten, saved for later. But its use really highlights that cultural value, I think, of efficiency, avoiding waste.
Yeah, it's the practical language of the kitchen, isn't it? Using leftovers immediately signals efficiency. You're saving food, yes, but also saving the time and effort of cooking a whole new meal. Core household logistics.
Totally. And we use it constantly. As a noun, we're having the chili leftovers for dinner tonight.
We're asking the question, are there any leftovers from last night's pasta? You can use it attributively too, right? Like leftover chicken.
Exactly. Leftover pizza is practically a food group. You might also hear the verb phrase, "What should we do with the leftovers?" And notice the subtle difference between leftovers and, say, food scraps.
Ah, good point. Scraps, sir.
Scraps are generally things you'd throw away or maybe compost. Potato peelings, onion skins. Leftovers imply value. You intend to eat them later. That distinction is key.
Got it. Okay, so from managing food efficiently, let's go to the opposite end of domestic order. The state of being untidy.
Messy. Messy. Essential word. Means not clean or tidy. Things are just out of place. Disorganized.
And it immediately signals, usually, that some tidying up is needed, but maybe not, like deep cleaning.
That's a really crucial linguistic point. Messy generally means disorganized. Clothes on the bedroom floor, books piled up, toys everywhere, maybe dishes stacked by the sink.
Whereas dirty means,
Dirty implies unhygienic. Needs soap, scrubbing, disinfecting. Think muddy footprints, spilled food that's gone sticky, bathroom grime. A messy room isn't necessarily dirty.
but a dirty room is almost always messy too.
Exactly. So if a parent says to a teenager, "Your room is so messy today," the implied instruction is usually, "Pick up your stuff, tidy it."
But if they say your room is dirty,
Ooh, that implies a much bigger problem. Get the vacuum out, maybe even cleaning products, intervention required. So
mhm.
messy is useful for that quick communication about just the visual state of things. Ah, the kitchen's a bit messy after breakfast. I'll sort it out later.
Okay, clear distinction. And the final word for this home section. The indispensable verb for keeping everything working. Fix.
Fix. Yep.
Hmm.
Core meaning to prepare something broken, make something work again, put something right. Its usefulness just goes way beyond fixing literally broken objects, though.
Right. This feels like another one of those super high frequency, super flexible words. We obviously use it for fixing things around the house. I need to fix the leaky tap. Or can you fix the wobbly chair leg?
Standard repair stuff. And technology, too. Can you fix my computer? It keeps crashing. Or
Yep.
my phone screen is cracked. I need to get it fixed.
But you mentioned it goes beyond repair. What are the other key meanings, especially in, say, American English? This feels important for fluency.
It is vital. In American English particularly, fix very often means to prepare or to arrange, especially with food and drink.
Ah, okay. Like,
You'll commonly hear people say, I'm going to fix us some dinner now. It doesn't
yeah.
mean dinner's broken. It means prepare it, cook it.
Or hang on, let me fix you a cup of coffee. Arranging a drink.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
even, I need to fix my hair before going out, meaning arrange it, style it. This polysemy, the word having multiple related meanings, is what makes it so common and so necessary to understand for real fluency.
Being comfortable using fix for a broken pipe, a software glitch, and a plate of scrambled eggs. That really shows you're comfortable with the natural flow of the language.
It really does.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting a handle on leftovers, messy, and the different uses of fix definitely makes you sound more integrated into that everyday household conversation.
Mm. Okay, let's shift focus completely now. We have to talk about the digital world. If you use a phone, a computer, the internet, these next terms are just non-negotiable. You need them.
Absolutely essential vocabulary for modern life. Where do we start? Access.
Let's start right at the gateway. The fundamental pair, log in, log out.
Log in, log out.
Yeah.
Or sometimes sign in, sign out. Pretty similar.
Very similar, often used interchangeably. Login basically means entering your credentials, username, password, maybe Face ID now.
To get secure access into an app, a website, your email.
Exactly. And logout is the reverse. You're leaving that secure session, primarily for security reasons. We do this, gosh, dozens, maybe hundreds of times a week.
Easily. And that security part is key, isn't it? You log in to get to your private stuff, and you really should log out, especially if you're on a public or shared computer. Absolutely critical habit. And just quickly note the difference from related terms. Sign up is when you create a brand new account.
First-time user.
Right. Log in is when you access the account you already created. And notice the little prepositions, too. They matter. You generally log into a site or service, and you log out of your session. Those small words make a difference.
Okay, log in, log out. Got it. What's next? The physical action we all do constantly.
The defining physical action. Scroll.
Ah, the endless scroll.
Indeed. Scroll is simply that action of moving text or images up or down on a screen. It's the main way we engage with so much digital content now.
Especially social media feeds, right? Or long news articles. You're scrolling down to see new posts, maybe scrolling back up quickly if you think you missed something.
Exactly. It's so fundamental that, as you hinted, we now have cultural terms built around it. Endless scrolling, or the slightly worrying doom scrolling.
Yeah, endlessly scrolling through bad news.
Right. The word scroll itself perfectly describes that specific navigation style. It's replaced turning a page for a lot of reading.
Okay, scroll. Makes sense. Now, a really crucial concept, moving data around. The pair upload, download. Direction matters here, right?
Direction is absolutely everything with these two.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Download. Think down from the internet.
Down to my device.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
copying files from the internet or a server. down onto your local device, your phone, your computer, saving a song file, getting a new app from the App Store, receiving a photo someone emailed you. That's downloading.
Got it. So upload is the opposite.
The exact opposite. Think
Yeah.
up to the internet. You sending files from your local device up to the internet or a remote server.
Like putting a picture on Instagram.
Perfect example. Or saving a document you wrote onto Google Drive or Dropbox. You're uploading it.
Okay, that seems clear. Download to me, upload from me. But here's a question that might trip people up. What about streaming? Like watching a movie on Netflix. Am I downloading it?
That is a fantastic question. And it gets right to the heart of the technical versus conversational difference. Technically, yes, when you stream, your device is downloading chunks of the data into a temporary buffer or cache so you can watch it smoothly. That process is streaming.
But we don't say, I downloaded a movie on Netflix last night.
Exactly. Conversationally, we say, I streamed it or I watched it on Netflix. The word download in everyday non-technical speech strongly implies you are saving the entire file permanently onto your device for later use, probably offline.
Ah, okay. So download implies saving the whole thing for keeps. Streaming is watching, listening in real time with temporary data. That's a really useful distinction.
It's vital for sounding natural, and this whole concept of the cloud, it relies entirely on understanding upload and download.
How so?
Well, think about backing up your phone photos. You upload the photos from your phone up to the cloud server, right?
To iCloud or Google Photos or whatever.
Then maybe you get a new computer. To get those photos onto the computer, you download them from the cloud server down to the computer. The direction of that data flow is everything, and upload and download are the two words that define it perfectly.
Okay, let's move away from the digital and more into the internal. The language we use to talk about how we feel. Using the right emotional vocabulary feels pretty crucial for connection, for empathy.
Oh, absolutely. Being precise about your feelings helps others understand you and helps you understand yourself, too. Let's start on the milder end of the negative scale. The feeling of being annoyed.
Annoyed. Not angry, not furious, just annoyed.
Exactly. It means feeling a little bit angry or maybe impatient, usually about something relatively small. It's a slight irritation. It's specifically defined as a mild negative feeling.
Right. It's reserved for those situations that cause a bit of friction, but they're not, life-ruining events. They don't cause deep rage or despair.
Precisely. And the trigger for annoyance is often some kind of minor, maybe recurring irritation, something we might call a pet peeve.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, you might be annoyed by your neighbor playing music just a little too loud, consistently. Or you get annoyed when your train is running 10 minutes late again.
Yeah, it's that low-level friction. It doesn't stop your day completely, but it definitely makes it a bit less pleasant.
Right. And we often use annoyed to explain why we might be about to take some kind of small corrective action, like, ugh, I'm getting really annoyed by the constant buzzing from that phone. I'm going to turn the volume down.
It's like the feeling that prompts a polite request or a minor adjustment, somewhere between just tolerating something and actually getting properly angry about it.
Exactly. An intermediate step. Okay, let's swing completely the other way, to the positive side. Excited.
Excited. Much better feeling.
Much better. Excited means feeling very happy and enthusiastic, specifically about something that is going to happen.
Ah, so it's future-oriented.
Primarily, yes. It's not just about being happy right now in this moment. It's about that anticipation, that buzz, that positive energy directed towards an upcoming event.
Like being excited about a holiday you've booked, or excited about your birthday party next week.
Perfect examples. We use it to convey that high level of anticipation. Think about kids who literally can't sit still because they're so excited about going to the park later. That physical energy is often part of being excited.
Yeah, it communicates a powerful, energetic kind of happiness focused on the near future.
And it's useful to contrast it with just being happy. Happiness can be a calm state. You can be perfectly happy sitting quietly reading a book.
But excitement usually involves more energy, a surge.
Generally, yes. Excitement is more of a dynamic reaction to something anticipated,
Hmm.
often with a visible burst of energy or enthusiasm.
Okay. Annoyed, excited. What's the third key emotion here? The feeling when things just aren't working out.
Ah, that universal feeling.
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Ugh.
Frustrated is when you feel upset or impatient, specifically because you can't do something you're trying to do or you can't achieve a goal you're aiming for. It's that feeling of being stuck,
Yeah.
blocked, defeated, maybe. Usually after you've tried, right? Maybe tried multiple times.
Often, yes. The emotional weight of frustration is really tied to that feeling of impotence. You want to open that really stubborn jar of pickles, but you just can't. The lid won't budge.
Or you want the stupid app on your phone to just work, but it keeps crashing right when you need it.
Exactly. The obstacle, whatever it is, stops your desired action. And that leads directly to that impatient, blocked, stuck feeling. The sources specifically mention technological frustration as a really common modern example.
Oh, yeah. Slow internet stopping you from submitting something important. That's pure frustration.
Definitely. And it's also important, I think, to quickly note the difference between being frustrated and being, say, sad or angry.
How would you distinguish them?
Well, sadness often feels more passive, maybe inward looking. Anger is often more active, maybe directed outwards at someone or something. Frustration feels more like trapped energy. You're pushing against an obstacle and getting nowhere. It's directed at the block.
Trapped energy directed at an obstacle. That's a good description.
So, mastering these three, annoyed for minor irritations, excited for positive anticipation, and frustrated for when you're blocked, give you really essential emotional color. Lets you describe your daily inner landscape much more accurately.
Okay, for our final section in this deep dive, let's look at some really practical phrases, the kind you use constantly when you're, out and about, running errands, shopping, just navigating city life.
Right. Practical urban vocabulary. And we start with a phrase that's got two quite distinct meanings, depending entirely on the context. Check out.
Check out. Okay, meaning number one.
Meaning one is informal. It's basically an invitation to look at something, to inspect it, usually because it's interesting or new.
So if I find a cool new cafe, I might tell a friend, hey, you should really check out that new coffee shop downtown.
Exactly. It's casual, it's friendly, it's a low-commitment suggestion. Go look, see what you think. It's an informal invitation to observe.
Okay, that's meaning one. Look at this interesting thing. What's meaning two?
Meaning two is purely transactional. It happens at the end of shopping. When you're finished gathering your items, you go to the checkout counter or the checkout lane
To pay.
to pay. So you might say to the cashier, "Hi, I'm ready to check out now," meaning I'm ready to complete the purchase. The noun form, checkout, referring to that area with the tills, is also essential shopping vocab.
Right. So the same two words, check out, can mean look at this cool thing or pay for my groceries.
Exactly. And the fact that native speakers switch between those meanings instantly without any confusion really highlights why, as a learner, you've got to get comfortable with the context determining the meaning.
Context is king. Okay. Next phrase. This one signals that something's gone, used up, and probably requires a trip to the store.
Ah, yes. Run out of.
Run out of.
To run out of something means you've used all of it up. There is none left. Zero inventory.
And the functional result is pretty clear. You need more.
Action is required to replenish immediately. This obviously applies to everyday household things. Oh no, we've run out of milk this morning. I'll have to grab some on the way home.
Mhm.
Or we've run out of coffee beans. It's basic logistics language for the home.
But does it only apply to physical things? Can you run out of non-physical stuff?
Absolutely. That's where it gets more flexible. You can run out of time. Hurry up, we're running out of time. You can run out of patience. I'm running out of patience with this malfunctioning printer.
So the phrase really conveys that sense of total depletion, hitting zero.
It does. The source material had that quite dramatic example, didn't it? Running out of gas while driving. That shows it's used for really critical supply issues, too, where hitting zero causes a major problem.
Yeah, definitely want to avoid running out of gas. And you often hear it paired with the consequence, right? We ran out of bread, so I had toast instead.
Exactly. Cause and effect.
Yep.
Okay, our final phrase for today. It's a close cousin to the first meaning of checkout. The look at this meaning, but maybe slightly more formal when used as a request. Take a look.
Take a look.
Take a look. It just means to look at something, usually quickly or briefly. It's an invitation to see something, often implying a quick review or inspection, rather than, a deep, exhaustive study.
So it often functions as a polite request for someone to glance at something.
Very often, you might ask your boss, could you just take a look at the first draft of this email before I send it? You're signaling you just want a quick glance, not a full-blown edit.
Or in a shop, the salesperson might say, feel free to take a look at our new range of sweaters. Again, inviting inspection, casually.
It's a very low-stakes way to get someone to engage visually with something. It feels much less demanding than asking someone to formally review it or examine it closely.
Which comes back to that idea of managing social interaction, keeping requests light and easy.
Exactly. It's the linguistic equivalent of just saying, hey, give us a quick glance when you have a second. Very useful, very common. Hashtag tag tag outro. Host, speaker, and expert speaker.
Wow, that was quite an inventory. An incredible list of these seemingly small but actually really powerful high-frequency words and phrases. We've covered tools for professional clarity and nuance, keys for making conversations flow smoothly, the essential vocab for home life, the language of our digital screens, how to talk about basic emotions, and even practical phrases for shopping and city life.
It's a broad range, but they all share that common thread.
They are fundamental. And if you, the listener, can really internalize the functional meaning, how they're used, why they're used, not just the dictionary definition.
That's the key, isn't it? The function.
That's the key. You really will skip past just sounding proficient and jump much closer to sounding truly natural, truly fluent. Remember that core message from the source material we looked at. These are the little keys, the building blocks that native speakers just use constantly without even thinking about it. And the power really comes from using them yourself. Practice is everything. Try to consciously integrate these words and phrases, actually, probably, kind of, deal with, schedule. Guess what? By the way, anyway, I mean, leftovers, messy, fix, log in out, scroll, upload, download, annoyed, excited, frustrated, check out, run out of, take a look into your own sentences. Every day.
Don't just recall the definition. Recall the context we discussed. When is it okay to use kind of? And when would you maybe choose somewhat instead? Why use actually to soften a preference?
Thinking about the why.
Thinking about the why. And, that leads us perfectly into our final thought for today, something a bit more provocative, perhaps.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
We've seen repeatedly how these words aren't just about conveying information, they soften opinions. Sort of. They politely correct. Actually, they signal transitions clearly anyway.
They manage the interaction.
They manage the interaction. So the real mastery of this kind of vocabulary, maybe, isn't just knowing what the words mean. It's understanding intuitively how they're used to manage that social distance.
Ah, explain that a bit more.
Making sure your opinions don't land too harshly, ensuring your corrections aren't perceived as rude, making your presence in the conversation feel fluid, polite, easy to follow. It's about navigating the social dynamics through these small words.
So, mastering that social lubrication, that subtle layer of communication that these words provide,
Mhm.
that's maybe the true hallmark of real conversational mastery in English.
I think that's a huge part of it. It's not just what you say, but how you package it using these essential little tools.
Fascinating. A great place to leave it. Thank you so much for that deep dive into the little words that really do the biggest work. And thank you all for joining us. Keep practicing.
Keep practicing. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.